Happy 4th to the people that do celebrate it. You know, as a Muslim, we would want people to respect our holidays. So, for me, I try to respect others. But anyway, I decided to do a quick video about, people are starting to get a little bit bold with what they're talking about when it comes to disrespect to Islam. Now, I don't disrespect anybody's belief. I don't disrespect Judaism. I don't disrespect Christianity, even though we know we don't disrespect Hinduism, because we know the origins of the majority of these religions, preach monotheism, and they also, were brought here in good faith for the people. Just like Islam was brought for the people, the whole of humanity. So you shouldn't be a racist and be Muslim, because Prophet didn't teach racism. The Quran doesn't teach racism. People don't understand there is a difference. We follow, as Muslims, you follow the Quran's law, right? We follow the Quran, and you should follow the Sunnah of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. The law says, refer to me and the messenger, which means go to the Quran, and what doesn't, you can't find and confuse you in the Quran, then you go to the Sunnah. And if something is confusing you in the Sunnah, you go to the Quran. So, we use those as references, and hadiths, where you're going to find the Sunnis. But there's a difference in, hadiths. And I remember a brother telling me years ago, man, when I first, got into Islam, he was in the class, and it was an Islamic study class, and the brother was saying, about don't get into too many deep hadiths, or get into a lot of, just take it one day at a time. You'll be led astray by trying to learn too much too fast. And if you don't have a basic understanding and they're not basically grounded in Islam, you could be led astray. And he was right. You have a lot of people, though, that are not even Muslim, that they read one thing, read something in the Quran, and the two main things they'll read, and they look for to attack, Islam or Muslims, is they have, the Prophet says something where he married a child, and they also go with the, these are the two popular ones, they also go with the suicides, and Islam is based on violence. Islam is not based on violence. I'm saying? Violence is a last resort in Islam. Damn, I'm sorry. When people say that, but they know what the Prophet ﷺ went through, excuse me, during his first years in Mecca. Why surahs were revealed at certain times, things like that. Do you know how the Quran was compiled? Some people even think these holy books were just popped out of the sky, and they think they'll hear. It didn't happen like that. These are revelations. Isa alayhi salam, when Jesus came with the Gospels, that was his revelation, Gospels to the people. And Moses, he had the 10 Commandments. He didn't just pop out with a book here. These are things that were revealed to him. You had David, he had Psalms. It wasn't no book just popped out the sky. It was something that was revealed to him. These are revelations that they're giving, inspired to teach the people. I'm going to use the word inspired. You know what I mean? They didn't just fall out the sky. The prophet said some was inspired for 23 years with revelations. This is the Quran. It was put, it was memorized, it was written down, and it was put into book form, after he passed. But the point is, it was brought to the people, and the people already knew what it was while he was alive, as he was preaching it. So it wasn't something that, wasn't, that they written years later, or they took it and tried to, we're not doing that. So everything is authentic. To keep the authenticity, everything was memorized, written down, things like that, during his lifetime. So when you listen to hadiths, and you listen to, you read hadiths, a lot of hadiths are like reports. So a hadith is like, they're reporting something either he said or he did, something he made a ruling on. But usually if it's a ruling or something, it would be a sunnah. If it's something he saw or may not have said nothing about it, they try to make it a ruling. But, those could be hadiths. And then it's like, you have to follow the chain of narration. You just can't follow every hadith. And just because it's in Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, doesn't make it far, which is obligatory. Doesn't make it sound, which is, authentic. Even though it can come from a sound source, it could be a chain in the narration that, might not have been right, or something might not have been right. And that can destroy or take away the authenticity of that hadith. But the sunnah is his ways. This is things that people saw him do, his actions, what he said. These are things that firsthand heard him say. Sometimes hadiths don't even have anything to do with the prophet. So then you have hadith kursi, which are directly deals with the law. Something the prophet might have said that's not in the Quran, but it's directly from Allah. So, it's important that we are educating ourselves, man, before we spit out things. This is what I was saying yesterday when I was talking about, people, watching what they say, man. I ain't getting attacked, man, by these insects, man. But yeah, we gotta be careful what we're saying, man. Because you say stuff, people have reactions to it, man. Like I said, I ain't here to judge people. I ain't here to beef with nobody. I'm a peaceful young brother, or older, middle-aged brother, who should say, me and I for that, man. As a Muslim, I ain't the perfect Muslim. I do, a lot of bad shit I ain't supposed to be doing. But, we so quick to judge each other, and they'll look at religion. Oh, Muslim, you ain't supposed to do this. You always want to point out what you ain't supposed to do, or what you did, what you didn't do. And it's like, I don't look at Christians and say, hey, you're not supposed to eat pork either. You're not supposed to drink either. You're not supposed to do, y'all took y'all religion and did this. And this is that's not all Christians. They don't all believe in that. Some Christians don't even believe in the Trinity, some do. So you have different type of Muslims. You have a lot of apologist Muslims, and I'm going to get to that want to apologize or try to pacify certain things that are said, and they make excuses and things. You're just making it worse instead of coming with the facts of the situation. Like, suicide. Muslims do not commit suicide. That's clearly in the Quran. So now, if you're reading something that don't coincide with what the law say, how do you follow that? Oh, but the Prophet is not a law. The Sahaba is not a law. You follow a law, you listen to the Prophet, and those are in command. Those are in charge, and you placed in charge of us. But if they're teaching you follow your parents, and it even says in the Quran, if your parents is teaching you something against Islam and trying to make you go against Islam, you don't follow them. You don't listen to them, but obey your parents. So in order for you to there's criteria. You have Sharia, which is based off of Quran and Sunnah. Not Quran and Hadiths and all this stuff, based off Quran and Sunnah. Right? So, you gotta know what we're saying and know what we're reading, and read everything. Don't read one part. I see brothers, they look for whatever their narrative is out of something. As soon as they see, I got it right here. It says, kill the unbeliever, whatever. Do you know why I'm saying that? You do know that they, ran the Prophet out of Mecca. He wasn't fighting his people. They were being attacked every day. They were killing women. They were killing, persecuting people, things like that. I believe the first martyr of Islam was a woman, somebody's mother. So, you know what I'm saying? It was stoned to death. That's in what's the movie they came out with? The Messenger. But that was, so, you gotta know. Look, you know what I'm saying? They were being persecuted, man. They weren't fighting back and all that. They had some warriors with them, but the command didn't come to fight until they got their numbers up. They weren't in a position to get right. So they had to wait until the numbers came up. And they were, and then when they were, a lot of certain surahs came, during the times of, when they were in Mecca, and then some surahs, most of the surahs came as teaching you how to live, survive, how to, things like that, giving you the way of life is the Medina surahs when they were settled. And the crazy thing is, I was listening to somebody earlier, this to a debate earlier, how with these young kids, and it's sad how the maturity level of our kids has deteriorated, and the maturity levels of our kids have deteriorated over the last 30, 40 years, man. Because I remember growing up, we were a little bit more mature. I remember watching this video and, looking at the kids and the responsibilities they had, and, they were way more mature. These kids, you go back and watch the 1950s, and they used to have a debate show where they have kids sit down and they'll have discussions, black, white kids from all over the world, sitting next to each other, discussing topics that our politicians can't even get right. And they made more sense than them. They made more sense than our politicians, man. So, when you look at the maturity level of our youth now, they can't sit down. They won't even be allowed to sit down and have those conversations. Oh, you're too young. But back then, it's like we were taught to be too young-minded, So, but back to the Islam, they were when they got to Medina, they were in a Christian land, and they went to a Christian land to settle. So we shouldn't have, we need to ground ourselves in the basic foundation of Islam, and we shouldn't be so quick to judge. Muslims took us, the Christians took us in and allowed us to grow, and they embraced us, and they believed in our message. And, so we can't walk around with hate for those type of people, man. So they weren't allowed to fight. And a lot of surahs that came down when they were talking about fighting was to try to take the land back that the Meccans, that the people that were mostly pagans, because that's how they made their money, were occupying. So when it says, kill or attack those people, they were talking about the people that they were fighting against at that time. Not just any. See, people take it and they twist these words. This is why you gotta understand there's culture as well. You have culture that people infiltrate into religions. Walk behind me, do all this shit. Don't point your feet over here. Don't do this. These are things that, are cultural things that don't have anything to do with Islam. It's not gonna lead you. It's not gonna make your situation better. What are you doing? These are cultural things, like, so when you hear people try to, say, well, it said kill, it's talking about those times, man, what they were going through at that specific moment, what they needed to do in order to, fend these people off that were persecuting them. That's what that was about. It wasn't about just walking around killing people. We didn't take the sword. People may have done things like that used Islam, because every religion is used somehow. And they may have taken it and used Islam, and like they do, and they used, the Quran to inspire people to go and do things, inspire themselves, and do things that really is not Islamic. There's no compulsion in Islam. It says that in the Quran. You can't make somebody do anything. It's like the marriage thing. Yes, you can marry, in the age of puberty. But remember, we're talking about different times back then. And there's no real age until, it doesn't specify an age limit either. And, but you also need to marry, somebody that's mature, that can handle being a wife or handle being a husband. So you can't just marry, so it has to make sense. A man, and this is where they abuse it. People abuse it. It's not the religion. It's the people. What is a grown man doing with a 9 or 6-year-old? How can you constantly do something like that? That doesn't make any sense. And we never even heard. Now there's some hadith. People say there's hadith. So Aisha saying she was young when she was already engaged to be married. How could she be 6? How can you engage her to be first? You can't engage somebody to be married without their consent. There's so many holes to poke in that story of her being a minor. She may have been young, but what 6-year-old, this is logic, right? How much shit do you remember when you were 6 or 9? Some people say, this would be the apology shit. She was young, she could remember more stuff and translate the hadith. Get the fuck out of here. I don't buy that, man. That's opinion. Show me the facts of that. How much stuff do you remember when you were 6 and 9 years old? You barely can remember any of that stuff, man. And then some of those hadiths of her even saying that allegedly came from someone 100 or miles away that lived in a whole nother country 100 and some years later, and they compiled those hadiths. How authentic is it? We're not saying she was young, but a 9, come on, man. Like, come on. Make it make sense, man. That's slandering. You're slandering the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. You know what I'm saying? Like, she doesn't, at 9 years old, you might be able to be pure, you might not maybe hit puberty. You're not mentally mature enough to be able to be somebody's wife at 6 to 9 years old. Then on top of that, so when was she was already scheduled to be married. So how old was she? 3, 4, 5 years old when she was scheduled to be married? And then how is she going to consent to be married? She has to understand what she's doing. So a 6-year-old understands what marriage is? Get the fuck out of here, man. I got daughters, man. Just because my daughter sprouts at 6 to 9 years old doesn't make her mature. Then you have some brother, that says, and this is where you give these people fuel for shit like that, to say stupid shit. Oh, well, as long as you're not hurting the girl, then what's wrong with you, man? Did you marry your 13-year-old or your your 13-year-old or your 12-year-old, your 9-year-old daughter to a grown man in his 40s or 50s. That doesn't make any sense, man. And there's no reference to that in the Quran, like that she was that young. Show me the reference to that, please. Maybe I'm wrong, but show me that reference. So we don't know the authenticity of the hadiths to even say that. I believe, but a lot of other brothers are saying that have studied it, that is slander. You know what I'm saying? There's studies that say she was 10 years younger than her sister. Her sister passed away at 28, 29, something like that. So when she around the time when she married the Prophet, so she had to have been about maybe 19 or 20, according to those brothers' studies. So we're not saying she wasn't young. How many old niggas we see now? They just said Bill Belichick dating a woman in her 20s. He's what, 70? And they say he was dating her for a minute. Now I'm not trying to compare it like that, but what I'm saying is, for her to she wasn't. In my whole heart, I don't believe she was 9 years old, and there's nothing concrete that shows that she was either. And this is why you gotta be careful reading hadiths and spewing things. Just like I said in Islam, Allah says in the Quran, if you commit suicide, that's automatic hellfire. You don't kill yourself, you don't harm yourself. You're supposed to prolong your life as long as you can, which means eat healthy, stay fit, keep yourself mentally strong, seek knowledge, things like that. It doesn't say anything about committing suicide. What they do is they use being a martyr, and it's a means. They don't have no real means of fighting. So that's using you being a warrior. If you go in this crowd and you kill a bunch of people, first of all, you're killing innocent people. People that ain't got any prophets or something never did that. Show me where he told people go into Mecca and start killing people, knowing that you're gonna die right then and there. That doesn't make any sense, man. They fought with strategy. And they fought with honor. They didn't kill women and children. And they didn't, kill them for no reason, man. And in Islam, the Quran says you slaughter the people, but if they repent, or if they ask for forgiveness, you let them go. How can somebody ask for forgiveness if you're bombing them with something on strapped to your chest, killing yourself? Like, that doesn't make sense, man. People manipulate the Quran, manipulate the hadiths, and people, for their own personal gain, or just to, inspire people to do things that may even need to be done, or they can't do themselves. So people use suicide because they may not have the weapons and guns to fight off Europeans or fight against, invaders and things like that. So they use these tactics, to inspire people to go and commit these crimes against humanity. Do you know that in the Quran, law says that to kill one person is like killing the whole humanity? Killing somebody unjustly. So if I'm on a city bus and somebody says, "Oh, all right, one blows up the bus," what did I do to you? So, yeah, you killed me for no reason. It's like you killed the whole humanity. You're gonna be punished like you killed the whole humanity. So when you reading stuff, careful what you read, man. Especially if you're gonna read something in Islam and try to, spew hate. Know what you're reading, man. Read the Quran first. And then, you don't understand something, you ask, you speak to imams, you speak to scholars. A lot of people, are not gonna misinform you on purpose, but like I said, there's a lot of apologists that they're not they pacifying certain things, and they're not just speaking facts and truth, and telling people, look, man, this is not just because it's in Sahih Bukhari, because we're trying to preserve the authenticity of the hadiths by saying everything in here is not sound, and a lot of it tells you that. The chain of narration might have been weak, or some, even if it's some hadith, he's human, he's prone to mistakes. You could have something in there that they may think was good, and maybe it's not. It doesn't make sense, and it doesn't coincide with Quran and Sunnah. So if it doesn't coincide about the I'm wheeling this shopping cart around with water and stuff in it. But if it doesn't coincide with Quran and Sunnah, you know, not saying reject it, but question it. Do more research on it, especially if it doesn't make sense, man. You know, we deal with logic here, man. Not emotions and feelings and pacifying shit, man. Nah, we dealing with logic, man. You know, anything hateful, anything that's going against, you know, common sense, no, you gotta question that, man. Don't just blindly follow something, man. Anyways, man, you know, let me get inside. You know, it's getting ready to turn to some fireworks. It might rain. You know, everybody have a safe 4th of July out here. And you know, you gotta watch what you're saying out here, man. And you know, like I said, if I said anything wrong, it's on me. You know, anything I said that's right was inspired by Allah. You know, and you know, I just felt the need to, you know, speak up. I'm not a scholar. I'm not a great knowledgeable brother. You know, but I have been around Islam and been Muslim, you know, for over like for almost three and a half decades, man. So I think I know a little bit of Islam, like, you know. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you know, it's very hurtful to people to hear somebody slander something out of ignorance, man. But anyways, man, I'm out, man. Many Face Publishing, I'll holler, man. Peace.